Live in SkyCal for a look now. Desmond, what do we have here?
Well, Susie, it took us a long time to catch up with this one because we are in Ventura County, westbound on the 126. We're in Santa Paula right now, kind of on the border of Santa Paula, almost all the way to Ventura here. This was started with CHP in the Newhall area. We first heard about it westbound 126 away from the 5. We're still not sure what the want was on this one, but we had some, going to have to double in here because we're still trying to catch up with this vehicle. But this person was driving like a total lunatic on the westbound 126, which is already kind of a dangerous road. Apparently they were blowing through some red lights outside of Piru, outside of Fillmore. Now the speed's kind of picking back up again. And CHP had actually lost this one, and then Ventura County Sheriff's deputies managed to pick it up. And it looks like CHP now re-engaging on this one. So speeds now up to about 70, 80 miles an hour, but we had speeds over 110 miles an hour at one point on the westbound 126 when we were between Newhall, or rather Santa Clarita and Piru. So we'll see what the suspect does. The 126 dumps out onto the northbound 101 as you get into the heart of Ventura. Yeah. Pretty empty roadway here. 126, not a very...
Okay, looks like we lost Desmond's signal there for just a minute, but I want to bring in Mike Rogers from the desk to talk to us a little bit more about the want in all of this. Mike, tell us more.
Yeah, so Susie, I was listening to some of the radio traffic. I was going back and listening to it, and the original want, this was a vehicle was coming down the 5 freeway, it sounds like, and was reckless driving. We got those live pictures back from Desmond now.
Probably gonna have to gain like 500 feet or so.
The vehicle was reckless driving, swerving in and out of the lanes, and CHP said at one point it may have been either trying to or did make contact with other vehicles. So it may have been hitting other cars as it came down the freeway there. I heard they call it a bolo, be on the lookout, call come out, and then the car actually passed the CHP unit, and the CHP unit said, hey, I got that car, it's way ahead of me, I got to catch up. And so that's what happened. He even was going so fast that he was going past that CHP unit. That CHP unit got behind him, caught up, waited for a couple additional units, including what they call King units, which are the canine units that are already in this chase, and then they re-engaged with it, going fast through Ventura County, as Desmond mentioned. And just, you know, we talked about they lost it for a second. That's because CHP is trying to get their helicopter, but it's coming from Fullerton. So it's got quite the distance.
Sure.
I'm looking at it right now. It's just coming through the Cahuenga Pass through Hollywood right now. So they've got a while to catch up, and going at these speeds, it'll be interesting to see. Maybe Ventura County Sheriff can get a helicopter up before the CHP one makes it there.
Yeah, as Desmond was talking about, and Mike was just alluding to the speeds of this pursuit. And not so much right now, but before we got over it, we're talking about 110 miles per hour on the westbound 126, where Desmond was talking about how there were cars, not empty like this freeway that we're looking at right now tonight, but there were many cars there. And it looks like right now it's pretty empty, but there are CHP units behind this vehicle. Again, this started in the Newhall area, the westbound 126 away from the 5 freeway. This driver blowing through red lights just outside of Fillmore there, and now the CHP back on this chase after they lost it for just a minute, and the Ventura County Sheriff's Office actually picked it up. There are various jurisdictions, Mike, involved in all of this. I know that Ventura is involved, the CHP is involved. They're about to send their chopper from down in Fullerton. Who else is involved in all this?
Yeah, so you had a couple of different offices. You had different offices in different divisions of the CHP. The CHP on the LA County side is Southern Division, and then you get into the Ventura County side, and that's like kind of a whole different office and division there. So they've got CHP officers from Ventura County, and Moore Park is the ones who picked it up originally. They handed it off from the Newhall units, and then yeah, you've got the CHP's helicopter on the way. So far, I've not heard Ventura County Sheriff getting involved at all in this. Like I said, I will be interested to see if they lend them their helicopter. I don't know that Ventura flies very frequently at night, but they do have the CHP helicopter now coming through basically right on top of our studios here in Studio City. So they're still a little whiles out. And, you know, we're going to cross another jurisdictional line, too. Ventura is not that far away. If it goes any further than that, which, by the way, we won't be able to follow it, into the Santa Barbara area, then you're dealing with Santa Barbara CHP as well.
Yeah, Desmond, we're talking about a reckless driver here, but you would never know it by what they're driving like right now.
No, you're fine. Well, speeds, you know, pretty slow. And look at this, at a complete stop. And we are pulled over here, westbound 126, right on the border of Ventura near Highway 118. Let's see what happens here. Did they lose a tire? Or, oh, look at that. I see some damage there. Yeah, I think it might have run into something there. It might have run into the center divider at some point. It was awfully dark out here. We got a brief glimpse inside the windshield, and it kind of looks like that driver was distracted. Now the door opening up.
Yeah, getting out.
Let's see if this one is suddenly coming to an end. After all the crazy driving we had heard about, all the effort to catch up with this, I see the door is open, and it looks like hands up in the air.
Are the CHP units right behind them?
Seeing, yep.
Okay.
They are right here, and they had said, by the way, that they had a canine ready in case the suspect decided to get out and run. But it looks like after all this, they have decided
there's a dog in the car.
Is that the
inside
dog
their
in the
car.
car, or is that?
It just came out of the driver's seat.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, how about, okay, interesting. Yeah, I thought maybe that was the canine, but definitely not the canine, because they would be reacting a lot differently than this.
Sure.
Suspect does not have a shirt on, it looks like. They are out here with their dog, and you know, kind of wish the dog was back in the car now at this point, but let's see what happens here. Hopefully it's a friendly dog, and hopefully CHP could just come and put them in handcuffs here without incident.
Well, you know, the suspect having a dog will probably limit the ability of CHP to use their dogs, because the last thing you want is the two dogs to get into a fight, because obviously the dog would probably try to protect its owner. And you know, Des, the front end damage there, as he was coming through Fillmore, we talked about this, going like 95 miles an hour through Fillmore. At one point I heard that traffic was stopped on the 126 and he was going around it in the center divide. So I think, Des, you're right. He probably hit something when that was all going down.
Or maybe when it happened, Mike, when you were talking about the fact that they were bumping into other cars possibly, that could have been a possibility as well. But right now, as you can imagine, a more delicate operation for officers, for CHP, as they are trying to get this person under arrest. But they do have a dog with them, so they're definitely going to be taking a little bit more precautions, because as Desmond was saying, we don't know if this is a friendly dog or not. Hopefully it is, but it looks like the suspect backing up towards the officers there, obeying those orders that are being yelled out right now, and maybe taking a look at the dog right now.
Oh, that poor dog. I hate these situations when these suspects, we've seen this before, where they have dogs. The dog is obviously confused, doesn't know what's going on. And, you know, like we said, hopefully when the officers go to make contact with the suspect, the dog doesn't try to defend the owner.
Yeah, because that could be a possibility too, you know. Those dogs are very loyal, as we all know.
Let's see. Here we go. Now they're moving in. I mean, the dog is kind of wagging its tail. Looks a little scared, a little bit skittish here. Okay. Yeah, he's definitely kind of frightened. And you know, I mean, God, that poor dog sitting in the car, and this guy's going 110.
Sure.
You know, dog probably not restrained properly inside the car. They've got the handcuffs on the person, but now what are they going to do with this dog?
Yeah,
you know,
that's a good question.
I mean, it's kind of sad. It's really sad to see. You know, the dog just wants to be with its human here.
Of course.
And now they're dragging them away. Now, what are they going to do with this poor dog?
I will say CHP approached him very, I don't want to say gingerly, but very easy. You know, right? I mean, you don't want to make sudden movements.
Of course, of course. If you're just joining us here on KCAL News, this is breaking news, an early edition of KCAL News at 8. We're talking about a CHP pursuit that's coming to an end here. And looks like the CHP now has the suspect in custody, but right now they have a dog on the loose there too. We believe this is the dog of the pursuit suspect. So looks like it's just walking around though, the patrol car, not really causing any problems. But I'm sure, you know, it's pretty upset with what's happening right now to its owner. As Desmond was saying, this is pretty sad to watch, you know, as the dog was probably not knowing what was going on inside the car during the entire pursuit. And this is a pursuit that started in the Newhall area, and now we're up in Ventura County. And we're going to have the very latest for you, more on this tonight on KCAL News at 8. We want to thank you for watching this, and thank you to Desmond Shaw and his crew in SkyCal, along with Mike Rogers at the desk. We'll be right back for more news on KCAL News at 8.